Good morning. Let us look our new chapter, that is biomolecule, which means molecule found in cells of living organism. Now, we all very well know that there is a wide diversity or wide variety of living organism in our surrounding, in our biosphere. Now the question arises that are all living organisms made up of same chemicals? If we perform elemental analysis of a plant tissue, animal tissue or microbial paste, that is all the living matter, and of a piece of earth crust, that is non-living matter, we find that all living and non-living systems are made up of by same chemicals, that is elements in compounds like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and others. But still there are differences also. Like close examination indicates that most living organisms have relatively more carbon and hydrogen than earth crust. Living organisms are composed mainly of water, whereas the non-living system may or may not contain water, right? Every cell is composed of variety of molecules that are found in cells of the organisms are called biomolecules. In children, the study of these molecules of living organism are termed as biochemistry. So, what are biomolecules? Chemicals or molecule present in the living organisms are known as biomolecule. And children, the sum total of different type of biomolecules, compounds and ions present in a cell is called a cellular pool. Biomolecules are compound of carbon. Hence, the chemistry of living organism is organized around the carbon. So, carbon is the most versatile and the most predominant element of the life. That is, carbon is the center element. It is the central element. All biomolecules contain a carbon chain or a ring. So, carbon is the chief element. Carbon has 4 outer shell electrons. Therefore, its bonding capacity is great. It forms covalent bond, hence has a strong bond. Once bond to other element, it is very stable. So that is why carbon is a very important element of biomolecules. So that is why it is said that carbon is the central element. Here is the list of some element which is present in the non-living matter as well as the living matter. Now children, there are 2 types of biomolecules. These are elements and compounds. Children, chemical elements of life are termed as biological elements. Firstly, we will study what is an element. The chemical elements are substances which cannot be broken up by ordinary chemical processes into simpler substances, right? And children, there is 25 elements have been identified in a cell and an extracellular matrix, which is given in table 9.1 on page number 143 of NCERT. So these elements are compatible with life. Because of their special properties, they are called as bioelement. Now children, let us look about the classification of bioelement. Children, there are maybe 3 groups of bioelement. First one is the principal element, second one is the minor element, and third one is the trace element. Out of these 3, First two, that is principal and minor element, are called essential elements. Children, let us talk about each of them in detail. Like children, first of all, let us talk about the major element, that is the principal element. This group includes first four elements of the list, which is given on the page number 143. What are those four important elements? Those four important elements are oxygen, carbon, hydrogen and nitrogen. Children, they constitute 95% of the cell content. They include non-metals. The next category is the minor elements. And this group include next 9 elements of that list. And they form 5% of the cell content. Children, they include metals and non-metals both. जैसे कि metals की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो कैल्शियम है minor element, that is potassium, sodium, magnesium, iron. So these are the metallic elements. Non-metal की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो क्लोरीन है, सल्फर है, आयोडीन है, फॉस्फोरस है. So these are non-metals, minor element. And children, these major elements जो पहले चार मैंने बताए थे, ऑक्सीजन, कार्बन, हाइड्रोजन और नाइट्रोजन, और माइनर एलिमेंट, 9 माइनर एलिमेंट जो अभी हमने डिस्कस करे, these are termed as essential elements. तो total 13 essential elements are there. The third category is the trace element. This group includes remaining 12 elements of the list. Less than 1% of the cell content they form, and they also include both metals and non-metals. The second type of biomolecule is the compound, and the compound of life are termed as biological compound. So a compound is a substance composed of atoms of two or more different elements in a specific proportion with a specific pattern of bonds. They are known as compounds. Children, talking about the types of compound. So two types of compounds are there. First one is the inorganic compound and second one is the organic compound. Inorganic compound usually lack carbon. इनमें carbon absent होता है. They have relatively small molecule, simple structure and low molecular weight. They include water, minerals, salt, iron and gases. The second type of compound is organic compound. Children, they contain element carbon. Actually, they forms the skeleton. They serve as the skeleton. They have large molecules, complex structure and high molecular weight. They include carbohydrate, lipids, protein, nucleic acids, vitamins, etc. Children, later we will study about each of them in detail separately. I hope it is clear to you. Now children, let us talk about the cellular pool. As we already discussed, the total of the various kind of biomolecule in a cell is referred to as a cellular pool. जितने भी बायोमोलिक्यूल प्रेजेंट हैं किसी भी सेल के, वो उस सेल के सेल्यूलर पूल कहलाते हैं. And children, percentage of these element and compound are also given in your NCERT in a table on page number 143. And cellular pool is maintained, means the composition of pool is maintained by taking up and eliminating the specific molecule through its semi-permeable plasma membrane. So the percentage is being maintained. Okay. Now let us talk about micromolecule and macromolecule. The molecules found in the cellular pool may be divided into two categories. First one is the micromolecule and second one is the macromolecule. The micromolecule are small in size and have low molecular weight. It is around less than 1000 Dalton, right? They have simple molecular structure and often high solubility in the intracellular matrix. And children, these include inorganic compounds as well as the organic compounds. So all these are given in the screen. And in that way, micromolecule act as the building block for the macromolecule. Like for example, children, the very simple sugar, that is monosaccharide. It is the micromolecule and the macromolecule is polysaccharide. Fatty acids or glycerol are the micromolecule and the macromolecule is lipid. Amino acid is the micromolecule and the macromolecule is protein. Nucleotide is the micromolecule and nucleic acid is the macromolecule. So now coming to the macromolecules. The macromolecules are large in size and have high molecular weight, usually 10,000 Dalton and above. They have complex molecular structure and occurs in coiled state, being insoluble in intracellular fluid. They include only organic compound, जैसे कि polysaccharide है, protein है, nucleic acid है. They formed by polymerization of large number of micromolecules. So we have discussed about the micromolecules as well as macromolecule. Now before continuing our discussion on micromolecule and macromolecule in detail, let us try to understand the process. How to analyze chemical composition of living organisms. Children, living organisms are composed of inorganic compounds as well as the organic compounds and elements. And water is most abundant chemical compound present in the body of living organism. So let us talk about the chemical analysis of organic compounds. Children, to analyze the chemical composition of living organism, we can take any living tissue, a wedge piece or a piece of live substance, and grind it in trichloroacetic acid, that is Cl3CCOOH, using pestle and mortar or homogenesis. That is basically the tool used for pounding things to powder, right? Homogenesis is the technique. Now the thick slurry obtained is filtered through a cheesecloth. Children, we obtain two fractions as it is shown in your screen: filtrate and retentate. Filtrate is the acid soluble fraction and retentate is the acid insoluble fraction, right? The extract can be subjected to various separation techniques to obtain a compound from all other compounds that you will study in your higher classes. When analytical techniques are applied to the compound, we get an idea of the molecular formula and the probable structure of the compound, right? तो हमने सबसे पहले क्या किया, लिविंग टिश्यू लिया and we grind it with the trichloroacetic acid. एक थिक स्लरी बनी. उस थिक स्लरी को हमने चीज़ क्लोथ से फिल्टर किया. दो फ्रैक्शन हमें मिले, एक फिल्ट्रेट जो कि एसिड सॉल्युबल फ्रैक्शन है और एक रीटेंटेट जो कि एसिड इनसॉल्युबल फ्रैक्शन है. चिल्ड्रन, सेकेंड टेक्निक इज द एश टेक्निक. ash analysis is basically done for the inorganic compounds and elements. What happens in the ash analysis? In this technique, take a living tissue and weight. This is called wet weight or the fresh weight. Then dry it till all water is evaporate. Again take weight, that is known as dry weight. The tissue is fully burned when carbon compound are oxidized to carbon dioxide in water vapors. The remaining part is known as ash, and this ash contains inorganic compounds like sulfate, chloride, phosphate, etc. And also it contains elements like sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, etc. Okay. Now continue our discussion with micromolecules. As we are continuing our discussion with biomolecules, so in the category of micromolecule, we will study about the amino acids, sugars, nucleotide and lipids. And under the category of macromolecule, we will study about polysaccharide, nucleic acid and proteins. Now we will study about, under the category of micromolecule, we will study about amino acids first. Children, talking about the amino acids are the building block of protein. There are around 20 amino acids that are normal component of a cell protein. And amino acids are those organic compounds which contain an amino group, that is NH2, and acidic group, that is COOH, as the substituent on the same alpha carbon. Right? So एमाइनो एसिड में क्या होता है, 1 अल्फा कार्बन पर एमाइनो ग्रुप और एसिडिक ग्रुप, कार्बोक्सिल ग्रुप प्रेजेंट होता है. ये मिलके बनाते हैं एमाइनो एसिड. ओके, एक्चुअली दे आर सब्स्टिट्यूएंट मीथेन with 4 substituent groups occupying 4 valency position of the alpha carbon. And the structure is look somewhat like this. तो देखने में अगर हम इसे ध्यान से देखें तो स्ट्रक्चर इज समवॉट लाइक अ मीथेन. मीथेन क्या होता है, CH4. एक अल्फा कार्बन पर 4 हाइड्रोजन प्रेजेंट होते हैं. So they are basically the substituted methane. And पहली पोजीशन पर हाइड्रोजन, सेकेंड पोजीशन पर कार्बोक्सिल ग्रुप, थर्ड पोजीशन पर एमाइनो ग्रुप और फोर्थ पोजीशन पर R, which is a variable group which is designated as R. Right? This is the general formula. Right? So general formula is like this. And depending upon the nature of R, there are 20 amino acids that occur in a protein. Right? Like children, if R is the hydrogen, तो ये क्या बना, glycine. If R is the methyl group, तो क्या बना, alanine. If R is the hydroxyl group, it is actually the hydroxyl methyl, तो क्या बना, serine. So in that way the nature of the R group actually decides, and depending upon that 20 amino acids are there. Okay, now children, the physical and chemical properties of amino acid depending on the amino, carboxyl and R, the functional group, right? And depending upon the number of amino group and carboxyl group, amino acids may be acidic amino acid, basic amino acid, neutral amino acid, and fourth one is aromatic amino acid. Okay, now a specific property of amino acid is the ionizable nature of amino group and carboxyl group. And so the structure of amino acid change in solution of different pH, right? So this is the property of amino acid जिसे हम आयनाइजेबल नेचर कहते हैं, Zwitter ionic forms are created. So in that reaction, this is the fully propionated form, this is the Zwitter ionic form, and this is depropionated form, right? तो ये एक important property होती है अमाइनो एसिड्स की कि वो आयनाइजेबल हो जाते हैं फास्टर रेट से. And lastly, the amino acids are classified into two groups with regards to human nutrition. First one is essential amino acid and second one is non-essential amino acids. Right? Essential and non-essential. Essential amino acids are amino acids that cannot be synthesized by the body. Example is leucine. And non-essential amino acids are those amino acids that can be synthesized by the body. And there are 11 non-essential amino acids. Example is glycine, alanine, etc. Right? So children, this is about the amino acid. In our next video, we will further discuss about the lipids. So I hope you understand. Children, still you feel any kind of doubt, so please feel free to ask. So very soon we will meet again. Till then, have a nice day and thank you.